we've got our overhead absorption rate. So maybe if I just put that in bold, so that's kind of a key figure. So you're asked to calculate the overhead absorption rate. So how are we going to absorb the overheads that we have in the 3 different departments? How are we going to absorb them into the selling price of any one particular job? And do remember, every job is going to be a bit different. Some jobs will need loads of time in Department A, not so much time in Department C. Another job might be completely the opposite. So we need to make sure whatever overheads each department has is shared among this particular job. So can you just follow this, just gents, for a sec? So in terms of pricing up the job, in some cases, I mean, Sean was asking earlier on about what about the labour hours in Department A. It might be that you have to work out what the labour cost is. We know the labour hours is 20, but in some cases they may not tell you how much we spent on labour. They want you to work it out by saying, well, if we spend a total, let's say if the labour hours in Department A is 20,000 labour hours, and we spent 200,000 on labour cost in Department A, you'd be working out the labour rate is €10 an hour. So in this case, labour hour is 20 multiplied by €10 an hour. So you'd have to work out the labour cost that way. Okay, but in this case, no, it's easier. The labour cost is given to you. So all I've done is I've added up my labour, added up my materials so far. Now my overheads. This is where I use my overhead absorption rates. So this 1.34 was times machine hours. So I'll look at the question. It says there's 50 machine hours. I'm going to put that number in here. So 134 times 50. So 50 times my overhead absorption rate. The next one then, it says Department B is based on labour hours. So there's 60 labour hours in Department B. Okay, so it'll be 0.69, which is the rate, times 60. So do my maths, equals 60 times the overhead absorption rate. And now your number may be ever slightly different because of the way it was rounded, just so you know. And the last one, Department C, is it's a labour intensive department. So it'll be 0.87 multiplied by this 25 labour hours. So it'll be equals 25 multiplied by 0.87. Is that okay? Now we'll, maybe if I just, to make it easier, I'm going to round it off to the nearest 2 decimal points. Actually, I'll make it 2, yeah. Okay, so now to get my total cost, I'm going to add up all my overheads. And so now I'm going to add my materials, plus I'm going to add my labour, and then my share of the overheads. That should, no, I'm missing a number. Okay, now we've done before how to work out profit. So profit is either markup or margin. So in this question, it says there's a profit margin of 25%. Okay, and again, your number now at this stage may be slightly different to mine because of your basis of apportionment, but your final numbers, it should be quite similar to what I have already. So the profit figure, profit margin is a margin of 25%. So I'm going to put the percentage here. So we have 25% is the profit. 25% of what? Total cost. It's either of cost or sales price. Okay. Now margin is a percentage of sales price. Markup is a percentage of cost. So in this case, that's 100. The selling price is 100%. So that means what's cost as a percent? 75%. So how do I work out my profit?
Divide 19,530 by 100 multiplied by 25.
No. Divided by 75 to get, so that 19,530 is 75%, divided by 75 to get 1%, and then multiply by 20, okay? So that, I'm going to divide it by 75, and multiply the answer by 25. And then I'll add those two numbers together, and that'll give me my sales price. Okay? Right, stop.